Call of Duty Black Ops 6 just released the beta, and let me tell you, there's a lot to go over in the settings. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you guys are going to need to go ahead and change because they added not only a lot of secret settings, they also changed a lot of OG settings to things that we aren't familiar with. I'm going to go over all of it in the video. I'll also be giving you guys tips to make the game run a little bit smoother if you guys are having a lot of hitches and kind of in-game stutters. I think a lot of people are. I'm pretty sure I found a fix, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. In addition to all of that, I'm also going to go over kind of the new movement system, how you guys can make the game more enjoyable for you to play and have the absolute best movement. Anyway, if you haven't already dropped a like on the video, I'd appreciate that. Let's get right into the video. Starting out here, when you're at the main menu, you're just going to obviously, it's the same UI, just rebrand it with different colors. Go over to your settings, and I'm going to start in the controller settings. A lot of these controller settings have transferred over, especially if you have the cloud storage setting on for your controller settings. However, if you don't, make sure to copy these over from Warzone or MW3. For me, I am playing 6.6 currently. Do not have on the simplified low motor or bumper ping. Make sure if you guys do not have digital tap triggers that you guys are playing on flip. That is kind of a preference. And then make sure your dead zones are set correctly. Again, these may or may not have transferred. I do recommend checking your settings every time that you load up the game. I have had issues lately where my settings have been changing every time I restart my game. Now, getting into these, this is irrelevant at the moment. Sensitivity multiplier, we do not need to mess with any of that. The aiming advanced settings, this is going to be where you find ADS sensitivity transition timing. This currently is bugged if you guys are using any kind of high zoom optics. Call of Duty has tweeted out that the fix currently is to go from instant and put it on gradual. This should get rid of the weird sensitivity feeling after zooming out of a high zoom optic. So mostly with your snipers, or if you're using like a 2x or above on an AR. So if you guys are having any kind of sensitivity issues while aiming and un-ADSing, go ahead and switch this over to instant. Here is where you're going to find your response curve type. I am playing on dynamic. I recommend pretty much everybody play on dynamic, and the custom zooms per sensitivity. These did not transfer over for me. So again, here are mine if you guys would like them. But something that you might be noticing here is that we are missing the aim assist type. So currently aim assist is in this weird space where they're unsure if they want to nerf it or keep it the same or how they want to go about balancing it. Currently, you may notice that the aim assist is a little bit weaker than it is in Warzone and MW3. In addition to that, they got rid of aim assist completely in 3 meters and shorter. So basically, if you're within 3 meters of the enemy, you are not going to get any kind of aim assist at all. And that's why in the settings here, you're not seeing an ability to change your aim assist type. Obviously, in Warzone, we currently have default, precision, focusing, and Black Ops. I personally play Black Ops, and we do not know currently what we are playing on this version of the Black Ops 6 beta. It is unclear of what kind of aim assist type we're playing, but I will say aim assist feels slightly weaker than normal, and then up close, it is literally non-existent. Now, whether you like or hate this change, it is just a change right now, and it's going to be something that they have to keep an eye on moving forward, and I'm curious to see how they're going to go ahead and actually balance that. Getting into a secret setting that almost nobody knows about, and if you don't know about this, I recommend changing this not only in the Black Ops 6 beta, but in MW3 and in Warzone. So this is a setting that Call of Duty has hidden from us, and we've had previously, if you guys know, back in Caldera, there was a setting called FOV sensitivity scaling, and most people played with it off. However, by default, a lot of people have it turned on, and they have hidden this setting inside of the motion sensor advanced settings. So regardless if you have your motion sensing behavior on or off, it should be off. Regardless if you have it on or off, this setting is going to actually affect your game and affect your gameplay and how your aim assist and all of that kind of stuff works. So you want to make sure your FOV sensitivity scaling, I prefer to have it off. Some people may prefer to have it on. This is one of those settings that you're going to have to play with it on and play with it off to make your final judgment. For me, FOV sensitivity scaling, I prefer to have it off. It makes me feel like my aim assist is a little bit stickier. But again, a secret setting that you guys might want to look into, might want to go ahead and try out and change. Moving into the movement, this is going to be the most confusing part of the new game, and I don't know why they've done this, but basically our sprint types have now been called sprint assist, For whatever reason, they've rebranded this. So basically, if you usually play automatic tactical sprint, you guys in your sprint assist options, go down and put on tactical sprint assist. This is automatic tac sprint. Basically, you're not going to have to click your left stick in order to activate tactical sprint. It's going to give you the cleanest, most fluid movement in the game possible. In addition to that, this by default is turned up to 250. I do recommend putting this down to 0. You want your sprint and automatic tac sprint to activate instantly as soon as you move your stick forward. I have, however, heard reports from some high level and pro players that they actually are putting their sprint assist delay on 2. I don't know if that really makes a massive difference or if it doesn't. I'm putting mine on 0. I just figured I'd throw it out there. You guys can try it and let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, there's also sprint assist sideways and backwards. Obviously, Omni movement is brand new in Black Ops 6. This allows you to not only get automatic tac sprint running forwards, but also if you go to the right, you get automatic tac sprint. And if you go backwards, you're going to get automatic tac sprint. Obviously, if you go left, automatic tac sprint. What this does is makes it so that way you guys don't have to click the left stick to initiate the sprint in that direction. This is not only going to be helpful, but this will also come into play and be crucial moving forward when we get to the next sliding setting. Moving on, mantle assist. Obviously, I have all of these off. You really don't want to have any kind of mantle help in the game. It just causes, you know, unwanted inputs that you're not actually triggering. With that being said, mantle cancels reload. This is on by default, but by having this off, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect anything. Crouch assist, I have this off. Again, if I want to crouch, I will just crouch my character. It is just that simple. Automatic airborne mantle, again, all automatic mantling turned off. This is where this is going to get tricky yet again. So in the past, we have had tap to slide, tap to dive, and hybrid. That's all we've had. Basically, they took everything that we knew and just shook it all up, and now they threw it back out here on the screen. So basically, if you guys have all of your settings transferred, which most of you probably do, you are going to be most likely on hybrid. You don't want to play hybrid on this game. It sounds counterintuitive, it sounds bizarre, but actually tap to slide is the new hybrid. So in Warzone and MW3, if you want to slide with hybrid, you tap to slide and then you hold to dive. And in this game, for some reason, hybrid is not that. You have to basically tap while holding sprint to dive with hybrid. But if you guys play on tap to slide, this basically just makes it so that way when you hold the stick, you can go ahead and dive. If you are having trouble diving right, left, or backwards, it's because this is on hybrid and you need to have it on tap to slide. This, again, just makes it so that way you don't have to press down on the left stick in order to activate a dive, which in my opinion is almost impossible to do right, left, or backwards. Anything but forwards for me is like almost impossible. In addition to this, if you guys want to be able to get the dive and everything like that, you need to make sure that you have your sprint assist on right here. This is going to make it so that way you can dive in those certain kind of directions and get that momentum so you can slide cancel in those directions. This has to be on as well. Again, if you don't like the new Omni movement, you can actually go ahead and turn off the sprint assist and it will change completely how the game is played for you. I did this for a few games and honestly, I enjoyed it a lot more than having kind of this crazy out of pocket sliding around all different directions, accidental inputs. I preferred it with that off, but obviously to stay competitive in today's day and age, you're going to just have to get used to it. That's why I turned mine back on. Getting down to auto door peek, this is a nice feature. Basically, while you're ADS and walking up to a door, instead of having to press and hold square to peek it, your character will automatically peek it. In the movement advanced settings, sprint, tactical sprint, obviously you want this on toggle. Auto move forward, I have this off. Again, any kind of mantle, you want that off. Sprint restore allows you to resume sprinting after various actions without being required to press L3 again. You want this. Slide maintain sprint, you want this. Tactical sprint behavior, single tap to run. If you are somebody that does still do kind of inputs with their left stick, even though they're playing on, you know, the new sprint assist, automatic tactical sprint assist, the single tap to run, this will basically just make sure that you're going to go ahead and tactical sprint when you want to. Plunging underwater, you want to have this on free if you want, or you could go with the triggers. Sprinting door bash, this is, you're going to want this on. If you're running into doors and they're not opening, chances are this is turned off. So you're going to want to turn that on. Vehicle settings, we don't have any vehicles right now, so it's really not a big deal. Moving into combat, this is going to be another important section because there are new secret settings that you guys are going to absolutely want to change. These are obviously going to be all just basic default. Getting into the combat advanced settings, again, another area where they're hiding these settings that are secret and honestly are more important than all the other settings that we've gone over. The D-pad up behavior, basically, we don't need to ping a multiplayer, or at least I don't. So I prefer to have it to be able to cycle my kill streaks. So having that change is very helpful. Weapon mount exit, you want to have this on instant. So that way, if you are mounted and you want to, again, exit out of mounting, any kind of movement will instantly take you off of the mount. I have this on tap to reload. If you guys are having trouble picking up weapons running around in multiplayer, which I'm sure some people are, you definitely want to put this on tap to reload to make a world of difference. Sprint cancels reload. This is kind of up to the player. I do not want this, so I have this off. ADS stick swap, obviously I want to aim with the correct sticks that I'm used to. For score streaks reordering, I prefer to have these in the earned order, so that way the lowest or the first kill streak is going to be the first one that I pop. Obviously you can put this in numerical order if you want to kind of flip it. Dedicated melee weapon behavior, this is going to be on hold melee. So for those of you who don't know, in Black Ops 6, we kind of have an Apex Legends kind of vibe going on, and that's going to be on your creative class. You can attach a melee weapon that you have on you at all times and is always accessible to you. All you have to do is hold the melee button. The opposite or flip side of the coin of this is if you put it on weapon cycle. Basically, what this is going to do is tell the game that you have 3 weapons. So if you click triangle once, you'll go from your primary to secondary. Click triangle again, you go from your secondary to your knife, and then click triangle again, and you'd have to go from your knife to your primary. You don't want that. I promise you. Put it on hold the melee. You will never ever need to take out your knife for whatever reason when S&D gets added, or modes where you want to get across the map and have unlimited attacks for and stuff like that. Having the knife out is helpful, but you don't want to swap between 3 different weapons. Is very, very inefficient. And then swap body shield and execution behavior. If you don't want to double tap to initiate a body shield, you could just have it where it's a press and hold. That's how I have it. I don't really need to execute people. I'd rather take them as a body shield. Moving down to the overlay advanced settings. This is going to be where you could turn your ping wheel off. I don't like having the ping wheel on. Now that we're done with some of the controller settings, we're going to go into some settings that will help you guys out and give you a slight advantage in game. If you guys are on console or on PC, make sure that your on-demand texture streaming is set to minimal, and then make sure the download limit is set to on. If you're on PC, you're going to be able to allocate a certain texture cache size. You're going to want to turn this on 16 or on 32. I'm sure everybody is getting these hitches and stutters in game. This will help limit packet bursts and the hitches and stutters that I'm talking about. And obviously, again, if you're on console, putting it on minimal and putting the download limit on, it will help out the most. Moving over to view, make sure you guys are playing on your preferred FOV. I did play 113 today for a while, and then I played 120. I did not notice that I got more aim assist or less aim assist with either of the FOVs. So kind of choose whatever FOV you like. Make sure that you're playing on affected. And then by default, these 2 things were on for me. The weapon motion blur and the first person camera movement was set to 100. Again, make sure if your game feels off or something doesn't feel right, the settings right now for the Black Ops 6 beta seem to be resetting whenever you launch the game, or certain settings will just change themselves. So make sure you check, because I had weapon motion blur on and I had 100% camera movement for at least 3 games today because I restarted my app and didn't realize in time. Moving over to the next important thing, make sure that your mini map is set to square so that way you can see a little bit more, and that it is on rotation on. The radar setting basically just makes your mini map a flat white background. It gets rid of all of the very important reference buildings that you'd be able to see on your map. Usually, I don't recommend having the radar on. It doesn't help you out at all. And then getting into the HUD presets. So with the HUD presets, we have a couple of different options. You guys can go through and select which ones look good to you. I personally play on the magnified option because I am really used to looking in the top left, and it just makes it larger. Again, when you put on magnified, make sure to put it on the square because I think it will reset it to round. In addition to that, if you guys are on console and you want your game to look a little better, you can come down here and put on filter 2, and then make sure that you guys go ahead and go down at filter 2, put it on both, so that way it takes effect not only in the world but the interface, but it will take effect in both. And then go ahead and make sure they're both on 100. Your game will get a little bit more saturated, look a little bit happier, and honestly, it's a little bit easier to spot enemies. Hopefully, this settings video helped you guys. If you guys had any problems with the hitching or the movement or anything like that, hopefully this clears it up. If not, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be checking the comments regularly while the beta is going on, trying to help you guys troubleshoot any of the issues that you've had or making suggestions on your settings. I hope you guys enjoyed.